Hi, Stash Cairo, here at stately Stash Mansion in glorious Chiyoda Ward, Tokyo. It is late Sunday night. It's what, 20:05, 8:05 p.m. And you can tell how much fun I've had this weekend by the fact that I haven't even shaved for the last couple of days. Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Tuesday, I might head out to my new barber, the Barba, TheBarba, the Barba Tokyo. I think it's thebarbatookyo.com. No, I'm not getting a dime of promotional money from them. Neither is Lord Spade. But as I've mentioned in the past, these guys know how to shave and trim a beard and cut your hair, so they're up the street from me here in Conda. What a day it has been. That's a song. What a day it has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why it's Gene Kelly from Brigadoon. Believe it or not, I like classic American musicals. Who'd have thunk that one? I was out in Chiba today. Chiba, I don't know how to describe Chiba. I live right in downtown, central Tokyo, near Tokyo Station. And Chiba, like if you're from Toronto, it's the opposite direction, but think of Chiba as Mississauga. And if you're going, what the hell is Mississauga? I barely can tell where Toronto is. It's like the suburbs, you know? It's technically a separate city, but it's, not. That's Chiba. I had to go out there on business today, even though it's Sunday. So I ended up buying some bread and meat at this import shop and bringing it back here. I'm boring you. But one of the things that struck me, and I'll get back to why, is I'm on the JR train coming from Chiba Station to Tokyo Station, and it's the express train. And I'm reading my Kindle. I like to read. And I glance up at the sign indicating what station we're coming up at. And, it's in Japanese. It's in Chinese characters. We call that kanji, the Japanese version of Chinese characters. Now, my Japanese is useless. Lord Spades is much better. Our buddy Jules is good. But frankly, 15 years here, and my Japanese sucks. I've never taken an official lesson. But you absorb certain things by osmosis. So, I glance up at the kanji, the Chinese characters, on the train display in Nage, right? And keep on going. And keep on going. Oh, Shin Koiwa, right. And keep on going. Oh, yeah. Shin Nihonbashi, right. Tokyo Station, Tokyo. And it strikes me that through osmosis, you just pick up subway, train characters. If you wait for the English, first of all, most trains do have what's called Romaji, the Japanese names in Roman letters, or they'll actually have an entire English explanation. But not every train. And what you end up doing is you end up recognizing, memorizing the Chinese characters, the kanji for the various stations. And, I'm sitting there reading my Kindle, I look up Inage, Bakarocho. And it's second nature to me. But when I first got here, it scared the shit out of me because, and back then especially, there wasn't so much in terms of English signage. So making sure you're going in the right direction, looking up at the train going, right, Cho Express, Rapid, Zushi. Okay. It comes as second nature. But in terms of actually learning Japanese, man, I suck. I pick stuff up, but I suck. Now, why am I telling you? My good friend, Lord Spade, has got this rush order for his company, Displace Media, and they're cutting a couple of videos for a very well-known educational company. I'm not trying to be cryptic here, but as I mentioned the other day on one of my pines to doo-wop or whatever, you can't do anything in this country when it comes to music or banking or, consultancies without putting your stamp on an NDA. So Lord Spade has put his stamp on such, so I can't really say what he's doing. But he's got a very large Japanese educational company, is paying him some good cash to cut the first in a series of instructional videos on how to learn Japanese. So he's actually at the office even as we speak. I just got off the phone with him, and he is burning the midnight oil because he's got a tight deadline to get these two videos in. And it got me to thinking, how many people out there who aren't in Japan, because as I mentioned, our primary audience is actually in the United States and also in Brazil, have taken online Japanese lessons, either in preparation because you're planning to come to Japan, or you just have an interest. L-Spade took Japanese lessons before he got here. Our buddy Jules took Japanese lessons in University in Ohio, and me, I did bupkas, which is one of the reasons why my Japanese is so bad. But I've always found, on the odd occasion when I've seen lessons on YouTube and such, that they just don't seem to work. And I don't know why. And I could really use some help, because I could pass this along to my partner, DJ L-Spade. What constitutes a great, or even an ongoing good, series of Japanese instructional lessons, videos, what have you? What works for you? I'm Canadian, and with your Canadian, you get taught. I'm English Canadian, so you get taught French from back when I was a kid, from the 3rd grade. Now it starts from kindergarten. If you're French Canadian, they teach you English. But my French is bad, although it's better than my Japanese, so it's doubly useless. I'm just not good with languages. Well, I guess I'm okay at English, but how tough is it to be okay at your native language? I don't understand what constitutes a good instructional methodology for developing, for improving your foreign language skills. So I gotta ask some friends. If you leave a comment or two, I'll pass them on to DJ L-Spade as he cuts the video and starts to make some suggestions for this new web YouTube instructional series that I can't actually talk about because of the goddamn NDA. I gotta stop with the language, man. They're not going to run any ads. We're never going to make a dime off this channel. We're such a small channel. I think we've got, 7,000, 8,000 subscribers? It's a labor of love, my friends. So I'd love to know if you can help me out. Either send an email to our address, leave a comment, or if there's like 15, 20 people who watch, not so much. Now, one of the things I did get the other day, this was last week, was it Wednesday? Thursday? Yeah. A friend of a friend, actually Jules' buddy, was complaining about credit cards. And a guy, American male, who has lived here for a couple of years, and he's applied for credit cards and has been turned down consistently, and citing, it's anti-Gaijin, anti-foreigner sentiment, racism. Look, let me tell you something. If you're in Japan right now, if you're planning to come to Japan and you want to get a credit card, I'm going to help you out. Yes, there is a certain anti-foreign element, but it's small. The problem with most people, most non-Japanese people who come to this country and want to get credit cards, is you roll off the boat, you're here 2-3 months, you apply for a Visa, MasterCard, what have you, JCB, and you get rejected. Well, think about this. If you move to the US, Canada, Britain, Ireland, Australia, wherever, and you were 3, 4, 5, 6 months in the country, would you be getting a credit card? Would you get a high limit credit card? Highly unlikely you'd get anything. You got to build some sort of, credit worthiness. And that's the principal reason. A lot of people who come here, most of the non-Japanese, and I'm not talking about company transfers or software engineers, I'm talking about people who are coming over here right now as English teachers, which is a terribly declining industry, but, ganbate means you'll do your best. I hope it works out well for you. This is how you get a credit card. The first thing you want to do is you want to work at least 1 year at a job. Now, if anyone out is going, hey, to hell with you, Cairo, I got a credit card 3 months after I got here. Yeah, power to you, man. There are definitely exceptions to the rule. However, for most people, it's a real chore. So the first suggestion I have is you got to be here about a year. The next thing I want to suggest to you is stay at the same place for a year. And the third thing I want to suggest to you is stay at the same job for a year. No matter how much you hate the pricks that you work for, listen to me. If you're teaching English, all the companies basically are shit. I mean, the pay is the same. If that's the racket you're in, okay. And you can jump from job to job to job, fair enough, my friend. But they're really 6 of one, half a dozen of another. When you're trying to get a credit card, it's the job stability, the address stability that really, really helps you. Now, another couple things you might want to try out. Don't sign the credit card application. Use a hanko. A hanko is the official Japanese stamp. They don't necessarily need foreigners to have a hanko, but their usage is declining. But the reality is, if you have an actual, what's called a registered seal, you go, and not one of those cheap ones you buy for 100 yen at a shop. You get a custom-made hanko in katakana with your name on it, and then you go to the local kuyakusho, shiakusho, city hall, and you register it. That becomes your legal instrument. Now, you might say, but if I'm just going to sign stuff, why do we need a hanko? It looks better. It looks better. If you were to see my Canadian passport, my photo, my Japanese driver's license, my number card. My number card is like a social insurance number, social security number, my number, or national insurance number from the UK. It's a plastic card that you can get. If you were to see my driver's license, Canadian passport, my number card, and also my gaijin card, my residence, my permanent residency card, the pictures are technically different, but in every single one, I'm wearing a jacket and tie. And my hair is actually freshly cut, and it's not like this with my beard and no shave. Every picture is like that. Why? Because in a credit card application, they're going to want you to either include your driver's license or a my number or probably your residence card. And if you look like I do right now, guys, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And there's the old, caveat saying, what have you, aphorism, that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. You've already got a bit of a gaijin bias against you. So when you send them the color photocopy of both sides of your gaijin card, my number card, driver's license, whatever, because it's required for the application, and don't say, that's not the way it is. That is the law here, folks. It's absolutely true. Get your picture on it to look like you've just stepped out of a boardroom meeting and not out of a brothel. What does one look like when one steps out of a brothel? No, seriously. Because that first impression, when this anonymous Japanese person who's going to input your non-score, because you don't have a credit history, you don't have a credit history at all, the first thing you want them to see is serious. Number 2, do you have a business card? Now, even janitors have business cards in Japan. Basically, anyone who works for a company gets a business card. But this is not the case for most English teachers. You don't get a business card. If your company, your Cairo, your English school, issues business cards, then include that with your application. If not, go to a local stationer's shop, they're all over the place, and get a double-sided card, one in English, one in Japanese, one with your name in, say, katakana, and the other side in English, with your address, your telephone number, and your email, etc., and include that with your application. Because again, it's an issue of image, that first appearance. You don't have a credit history. You want to come off as a banker, even if what you're doing is a basic English teacher. Another thing you might want to try out is having a landline. Now, nobody uses landline these days, and their popularity is in severe decline. I have a landline because I have business in North America, so I have a flat rate U.S.-Canadian long-distance line. And I only use it because I've got to call overseas from time to time. But you can get a virtual Japanese telephone number from Vonage.com. Vonage is the IP telephone company, and they're based somewhere in the States. And let's say you're from Sandusky, Ohio. So you have a local Sandusky number, which means if your mom wants to give you a call, she can call. She lives in Sandusky. Your phone number is technically in Sandusky. When she makes a phone call, hi, Mom, what's up? It's a local phone call. That's Vonage.com, and you can have a telephone number with a U.S. or Canadian literal actual number. But you can also get what's called a virtual number. And the area code for Tokyo is 03. 3 if you're dialing from overseas, 03 inside. That's the landline number for Tokyo. I think Chiba is 5 or 05. I'm not sure. But by putting that number, investing for a brief period of time in a landline, a Vonage landline, which doesn't cost that much money, and like I say, you can use it to have friends call you. My buddy Jules was here on Friday night because he needed to get that stimulus check from the IRS. He came here, was here about 10 p.m. because I have a landline with unlimited U.S.-Canadian long distance. Now, if he was going to call from his Keitai, his cell phone, it would have cost him a fortune because he was 2 hours on the phone. He got out of here at midnight, but he managed to clear up the issue with the IRS with not getting a stimulus check, and now it's on its way. So there's a use for having a U.S., Canadian, Voltage works in Australia as well, IP, VoIP telephone number, and get yourself a local Japanese virtual number that you can put on your business card because it looks impressive. So you've got your regular K-tie, which everybody has, your mobile. Sorry, I say K-tie. It's just what you call a landline in Japan, a mobile phone in Japan. K-tie means mobile. And you've got the landline, the K-tie. Next, why don't you get yourself your own domain? Seriously, get yourself your own domain. John@johnsmith.jp. That will cost you. There's a company called JP Domains. JP Domains. And they have full English support. They're great. Ichiban N per year, which is 10,000 yen. It's about $100 a year. Will get you. You can be John@johnsmith.jp, and or whatever the heck you want. Any .com, .co, whatever. But when you've got that business card and you're John@johnsmith.jp, you've got a virtual landline. They think it's an actual regular telephone. It's not. It's really an American VoIP phone, but it's got a virtual number on it. And when they start entering this stuff in your initial credit application, it looks very impressive that your driver's license, your Gaijin card, there you are with a fresh haircut, freshly shaved, or if you're a woman, looking dressed up like a businesswoman, like a businessman. It forms that first impression. Then you've got a business card, you've got a landline as well as a cell phone, and your own domain. It starts to look impressive. Now, if you're then at your address for a year, you're at your job for a year, you're at your, whatever for a year, make the application. The Japanese Credit Bureau, which is based here in Tokyo, keeps things on file for up to 6 months. If you constantly reapply upon rejection, it looks bad. So if you're going to reapply because they've rejected you, wait 6 months. Now, technically people say, Stash, it's actually just 3 months. Yeah, whatever. Guys, wait a few months. Give it 6 months and then the next day and then apply again, because a constant number of rejections looks bad. You don't have a credit file that's anything but blank, but you now have your name in there, your phone number. You've got no credit information per se, but you do have a profile. Now, next thing that's important is banks. The only credit card application that I can think of that's in English is what used to be Citibank, is now Prestia, SMBC Prestia Bank. They have English credit card applications. Don't waste your time. They're for high net worth individuals. So all the credit card applications you're going to get are either online or they're paper applications, but they have to be completed in Japanese. So that means you need to get a buddy, a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, to fill the damn thing out for you. And don't sign it, hunko it, and then include a copy of your registered seal certificate. Again, you don't need to do that, but it's all done for image. Face is rather important in Asia, and this is helping you to build up an image. So, bank accounts, I'd suggest two. Shinsei used to be the go-to bank. Shinsei, S-H-I-N-S-E-I, it means new life, and Shinsei was the only, at one point, bank card that was on the Cirrus and Plus network, used to work overseas, and had full English online banking and English support. Well, they still have the English online banking and support, but for whatever stupid reason, they stopped having their cards work overseas. Now, what you want to do is get 7-Bank. 7-Bank. There's 7-Eleven's Bank. There's a 7-Bank machine all over the country. They're on the Cirrus, the Plus, the Union Pay, the Maestro, the JCB network, and they work literally 24/7, and they work everywhere. If you're ever in Japan and you need cash, you have an overseas credit card, find a 7-Eleven or a 7-Bank ATM. They're all over the bloody place. That's going to help you out. That's going to take your card. But 7-Bank does not have English online credit card applications, but they do have English online card loan. And a card loan basically is a line of credit. You can apply in English in multiple languages, Thai, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, and apply for a card loan online with a less than 1 minute decision. Now, This is important because you're going to apply on paper for a credit card first from, I'd suggest, Shinsei or Seven Bank, one of their credit cards. Now, which one? American Express, if you have an overseas American Express card, believe it or not, American Express has a facility where they will allow American Express Japan to access your local credit information, and they will actually transfer your foreign American Express card to Japan. So if you've got an Amex card, that's a super plus. Now, but it's in Japanese. You got to get a Japanese friend to help you. The next up would be, Visa, standard, MasterCard, Diners Club. Diners Club, it's fine, but don't waste your time on that. I have what's called a Union Pay card because sometimes I go to China and SMBC Bank offers the Japanese version of a Chinese Union Pay card, but forget that. That's a waste of your time. So it really comes down to three cards: Visa, MasterCard, or JCB. Let me tell you why you want to use JCB. That was the first credit card I got, 14 or so years ago. JCB was the first credit card brand in Japan, and you could use it in most places in Asia, everywhere in Japan. And in the United States, any place that takes Discover cards also, they don't even know it, but they automatically take JCB cards. And by the way, if you're an American with a Discover card and you're wondering where the heck you could use it, any place that takes JCB cards, even if they don't know it, will take a Discover card. The reason I suggest JCB is because of the decline of the population and the sexy appeal of Visa and MasterCard. Their once dominant market position has shrunk. Even though you can use them anywhere in Japan, and JCB dead, I'll pay by JCB. They're a little bit more, I don't want to say desperate, motivated to give you a credit card because you've got to be approved both by the local bank and you've also got to be approved by the brand. And JCB these days is a little bit more liberal. So if you're going to say Seven Bank, Shinsei Bank, one of the banks, make sure that you get your friend to get your name down in katakana as it appears on your gaijin card. Use your official seal, get a registered hanko. Make sure your pictures all look like you're a business person and not like me. Really good idea to get yourself a landline, not necessary, but if you get a voltage number, believe me, it looks better. Same thing, you could be John1234 at gmail.com. A lot more impressive if you're John at John Smith or April at apriljones.jp.net. whatever. And it only costs 10,000 yen, $100 a year for that at JP Domains. And again, full English language support. I've used them for years. They are fabulous. Now, once you've done that, once you've worked for a year, and again, there are people, I've had a credit card. Yeah. There's always exceptions, guys. Always. But for the most part, same job for a year, same bank for a year, and whatever you do, don't miss any of your payments. Because I don't know about the US, Canada, Australia, how it goes there, but here in Japan, the phone company narcs you out to the credit card. They do. Every bill you haven't paid, immigration and or the credit agency, trust me, finds out about it. And you are effed. I'm trying to keep this PG rated. You are effed. So you pay your phone bill. You pay your power, your water bill. You certainly pay your rent bill and make sure they're paid on time. They usually do a direct withdrawal right out of your account. So make sure they're perfect. And you say at Shinsei or Seven Bank, 1 year same job, 1 year same address. Get yourself a business card either through your work or have them made for you. About 3,000 yen will get 100 double-sided English-Japanese business cards. That's like $30 US dollars. So that really helps. Your own domain really helps. The phony landline really helps. And I would suggest going to JCB and don't apply constantly. Once you've got your first credit card, once you've got that, you're gold. You might get rejected the odd time, but basically you're in. As long as you make the payments. And here, it's not a push like it is back where I'm from, Canada. It's a pull. You don't, send them a payment. They just pull it out of your account, and that's just the way it's going to work. And I can go into details later about ikatsu single payment, bunkatsu multiple payments, rebo barai, revolving credit. Forget all that. Just make sure you pay your bills. The final part of the equation is what's called the cashing facility. Japanese credit cards, there really are charge cards and credit cards. You can get a Visa, MasterCard, JCB card that acts, it is a credit card, but it has to be paid in full at the end of the month, or if it allows you to cut it up into, say, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 payments, that's allowed. But it's not a charge card. You have no credit per se. That's called cashing. If you apply for your first credit card without cashing, without a credit line that's actually a revolving credit line, your odds of being approved are actually much, much higher. Then once you've got the card, give it a couple of months and then apply for cashing. Once you've got the cashing, the credit card, that first one for a few months, 5, 6, 7 months, you're basically gold. Again, like I said, you might be rejected for a future card, but you're on file with a credit card company, and if you've got a decent history, you may start. I remember years ago when I was living in Nihon Bashi, picking my mail up at my mansion. Mansion means apartment, and I got some letter. I opened it up, and in Japanese, this is, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, they're offering me a Manchester United. I'm pre-approved for a Manchester United Visa card, and I'm looking, going, a soccer club, football club? What the hell is this? Turns out these affinity cards are for Premier League soccer, are very popular in Japan. Who knew this nonsense? But they are. The point I'm trying to make is, once you're in and you keep your bills going in good standing, you'll start to get some credit card offers in the mail, and perhaps if you've been paying them on time, pre-approved, and as well, they'll start to bump you up. They might start you off with a low credit limit of, say, 50,000 yen, say $500, or maybe 100,000 yen. But if you pay your bills, within a year or two, you'll be up at 500,000, or say a million yen, $10,000, 10,000 US dollars, and you're going to be fine. Just God help you if you don't pay your bills, because that's the end of your credit history in Japan. Image counts, folks. Image counts. Now, if you want to leave a comment saying, hey, Stash, you're full of shit, I did this in 2 days, look, I know. Yes, there's always exceptions. But if you ever want to troll online and type in Gaijin credit card, and you can see series, litanies of, I hate these bastards, they're racist, they won't give me a credit card. Well, there is that element, certainly. But there's also things that you can do to really help accelerate the process. And all this today comes from my friend Lord Spade cutting video for Japanese language instruction even as we speak, and my glancing up going, oh yeah, Shinkoi was stationed, and realizing through osmosis I have really absorbed in the 15 years I've lived here a lot of Japanese, although I'm actually terrible at the language. But I'd like to help you out if you're coming or if you're here, and if you need more, leave a comment or two, and perhaps I can do a better instructional video. It's Sunday night, this thing just struck me, I thought I'd post it. Hope everybody's good. I am so looking forward to tomorrow because it's Monday, and Monday, now that the coronavirus has hit, is no different from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like I'm on an endless loop in hell. I'm in Groundhog Day. I've talked about I want to get into Dodge. I got to get down to the Philippines. I got to get down to Thailand. I hate winter weather, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck, and it's making me nuts. More on that later. Hope I've been of help. Watch some of our videos. We got some more. I've been saying this for weeks. We got some more music stuff coming up, and wish Lord Spade well as he burns the midnight oil cutting his Japanese instruction video. Thank you all so much.